Nadia was 31 years old. From the outside, her life looked composed. A small apartment she kept clean, a job she showed up to every day, friends who loved her, a family that checked on her. But inside was a room she had locked 2 years ago and never reopened. Her relationship of 5 years had ended, not with a fight, not with betrayal, but with something harder than both. He had gotten sick, slowly, then suddenly, and then he was gone. Grief, people told her, has stages: anger, denial, acceptance. Nobody told her about the stage that comes after acceptance. The stage where you accept what happened, but you still can't find yourself again. Where you wake up every morning and go through the motions perfectly. Where you laugh at the right moments, respond to messages, eat, sleep, work. But you feel nothing. Not sadness anymore, just nothing. Like someone had reached inside her chest and turned the lights off. She had tried therapy. It helped, a little. She had tried journaling. She had tried travel. She had tried filling her calendar so tightly that there was no space left to feel. Nothing brought her back. One evening, she was sitting by her window watching the rain when her grandmother called. They talked for a while. Then her grandmother said quietly, "Nadia, when I lost your grandfather, I was just like you. Empty, lost. I went to see an old monk who lives in the mountains near our village. He told me something I have never forgotten. Maybe you should go." Nadia almost said no. Instead, she said, "How far is the mountain?" The journey took most of a day. A bus, then a shared jeep, then her own 2 feet on a narrow mountain path surrounded by pine trees and silence so deep it felt alive. She hadn't been in silence like this in 2 years. She realized she had been afraid of silence, because silence meant she had to be alone with herself, and herself was the one place she had been avoiding. The monk's dwelling was simple: stone walls, a small garden, a wooden door left open. He was sitting outside tending to a plant when she arrived, old, calm, like a man who had made peace with every single thing life had handed him. He looked up at her. "You came a long way," he said. "I had to," she replied. He nodded slowly. "Sit down. Tell me what you lost." And Nadia, who hadn't spoken about it honestly in months, sat down on a stone in the middle of a mountain and told a stranger everything. The love, the illness, the loss, the emptiness, the 2 years of going through motions, the lights that had gone off inside her and never come back on. The monk listened without interrupting, without offering solutions, without telling her it would be okay. He just listened, completely, fully, like her words mattered more than anything else in the world. When she finished, silence settled between them. Then he spoke. "You want your happiness back," he said. "Yes," Nadia said. He was quiet for a moment. Then, "That is the wrong question." Nadia frowned. "What do you mean?" "You were searching for something you think you lost, but happiness is not a thing that can be lost like a key or a ring. It was never outside you. It was never in him. It was never in the relationship. It was always only in you." "Then why can't I feel it?" she asked. Her voice broke slightly. The monk pointed to the plant beside him. "This plant was not watered for many weeks before you arrived. Look at it. Dry, bent, barely alive. Did the plant lose its ability to grow? No, it was just not given what it needed." He looked at her. "You have not been watering yourself, Nadia. For 2 years you have been grieving, surviving, performing, but you have not been tending to yourself. The happiness is still there. It is just very thirsty." Something cracked open in her chest. "How do I water it?" she whispered. He held up 3 fingers. 3 things, only 3, but you must do them like your life depends on it, because in a way, it does. First, stop running from yourself. Every time you feel the silence, you fill it. Music, phone, busyness, you are afraid of what you will find if you sit with yourself, but the only way back to yourself is through yourself. Every morning, sit in silence for 10 minutes. No phone, no noise, just you and yourself. At first, it will be painful. Then it will become the most honest part of your day. Second, give yourself back your small joys. When he was alive, what made you happy before you loved him? Not what you did together, what was yours alone. Find one thing, one small thing that belonged only to you. A food, a walk, a hobby, a song, something that was Nadia's, not Nadia and someone else's. Do that thing every single day, not because it will fix you, but because it will remind you that you exist, that you are still here, that life did not end. Third, let yourself feel without judgment. You have been managing your grief, controlling it, scheduling it. You cry only when you are alone, only when it becomes too heavy, only when you cannot stop it. You have been treating your own pain like an inconvenience. He leaned forward. Your grief is not your weakness. It is proof of how deeply you loved. Honor it. When sadness comes, let it come. Sit with it like a guest. Offer it tea. Let it speak. And then let it leave. You do not have to carry it forever, but you also can't heal what you keep locking in a room. Nadia sat on that mountain stone for a long time after he finished speaking. The sun was beginning to lower behind the peaks. The air was cold and clean, and for the first time in 2 years, she cried. Not in her car alone, not with her face buried in a pillow, out in the open, on a mountain, in front of a stranger who said nothing, just placed a quiet hand on her shoulder and let her feel every single thing she had been running from. Nadia came down from that mountain a different woman, not fixed, not healed completely, not suddenly happy, but awake. She started sitting in silence every morning, 10 minutes, just her and herself. Some mornings were hard, some mornings she cried, some mornings she just breathed. But slowly she stopped being afraid of her own company. She found her small joy. It was painting, something she had loved at 19 and abandoned somewhere in the years that followed. She bought a small canvas and cheap paints. She was terrible at first. She didn't care, because for 30 minutes every evening she wasn't grieving, wasn't surviving, wasn't performing. She was just Nadia. And she started letting herself feel, really feel, without judging herself for it. She stopped saying, I should be over this by now. She stopped apologizing for her sadness. She let it move through her like weather, real, temporary, valid. 6 months later, her best friend looked at her across a coffee table and said, Nadia, you're back. Nadia smiled. No, she said softly, I didn't come back. I just finally stopped leaving. Maybe you are not grieving a person. Maybe you are grieving a version of yourself you thought you would be by now. Maybe you are grieving a dream that didn't happen. Maybe you are grieving the girl you were before life got heavy. The monk's 3 lessons were not magic. They were not complicated. Stop running from yourself. Give yourself back your small joys. Feel without judgment. That's it. Not a 10-step program, not a complete life overhaul. Just come back to yourself, gently, patiently, every single day, because you are still in there, a little thirsty, a little bent, but still capable of growing. All you have to do is start watering yourself again.